Good evening, everyone. We are very fortunate this evening to have Theresa BrownGold with us. She is a documentary portrait painter and a part of HCAN's exhibit, Deliberate Compassion. Thanks for being with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. How did your vision for art as social inquiry develop?
I have been in the restaurant business, actually retired from that business a few years ago, but I started at 19. And so I have actually met and spoke to hundreds of thousands of people. So when my husband and I owned our own business, I got into the idea of what business is and very quickly realized that I was not going to be happy doing that. So I studied art in my 20s, but I started taking art classes at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. And those two forces merged. And one day I had this epiphany because people told me they got so indignant when uh, something about access to healthcare or some they deemed political issue. I never saw it as political, and then at the same time, they wanted donations for the SPCA or whatever. And I thought, wow, there seems to be a disconnect here. So I was doing art, loving the portrait classes that I was taking. And this epiphany happened in my head. I said, what if I started connecting the issue to real people? And so instead of people having this opinion that was floating out there, that they would actually see a face and say, well, this is how it looks in real life. And that's how it started when I had my own business. And this was about 2008.
Wow, that's a great story.
Good.
How did Deliberate Compassion come about?
Well, that was a personal journey. So people tend to hear that phrase and think, oh, I have to feel something for somebody else. But actually, the journey, what we feel toward another person, another story, another situation is really an outgrowth of this expansion that we have inside ourselves, which happened to me. So imagine now, years I'm interviewing people, you do it, you get it. I'm just erasing myself. I need to connect to you. I need to feel your soul. So I'm not going to bring my personal opinions to anything. So I erase myself and I get into the habit of deep listening. And years into this, as I said, I realized that deep listening became a habit, deliberate. It was a habit, and I was applying it to myself. I was listening to my own inner voice in a more compassionate, calm, quiet way. And because I was kinder to myself, I felt this sort of evolution of my own being. And I felt connected. I could understand what another person was going through because I could kind of see it in myself. And I started having compassion, deeper compassion. I mean, artists, I think, have to be compassionate and connect and empathetic. But this deep, profound connection to all human life happened. And that's where the deliberate compassion, it happened in myself because I made a habit of deliberately putting myself in a position of listening and wanting to connect. And I think if we try to connect to others, no agenda, just listen, we end up benefiting the most.
Right. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
What is the role of the arts in social justice issues for you?
Well, for me, it's a way to get people interested in the subject that they might be afraid of, uncomfortable with. They might hear a lot of yelling and screaming. The portraits don't yell back. It's a very soft invitation into say, hey, look, can we have a conversation? And can we start just by looking at somebody else's life? And from there, once people relax, once they tense up, they're getting their, defenses up. But once they relax, they might say, oh, that's what my girlfriend's mother was saying when she, had that pre-existing condition before healthcare reform and she couldn't get insurance and she was 59 years old and too young to qualify for. So that's for me, it's a gentle way, a more gentle way, but it could be a wolf in sheep's clothing in the sense that there's internal discord. Like, oh my goodness, I'm connecting to something that I had this harsh opinion about, and now I feel different. But the project can walk us through that.
Right.
I don't leave you hanging.
There you go. Now a bit of personal.
Okay.
What's your favorite art form if it weren't portrait painting? And do you have any collections of art that you want to share with us? You know, do you collect anything?
Well, I actually started an Instagram account, less for myself and more for art. I don't put anything political on there, or it's all, I look at art. I look at all the museums. I look at art in gardens. I look at everything. So everything is art to me. It's hard to say beyond painting my favorite because it's just, I just get so sucked into everybody's art, especially if it's oil paint.
Well, there you go.
Love the oil paints, the richness of it, love working with them and all of that. It's funny, my husband likes to go to the thrift stores to find cookbooks. People don't use cookbooks anymore, and they're ending up in the thrift stores, and they're pretty cool because he's been a chef his whole life, and working in the food business since he was 14. So I look for art books, but I also look for signed prints, signed photographs. I love all of that. As our lives progress, I'm looking forward to buying even more expensive art. My teachers at PAFA were fantastic. I have friends that do fantastic artwork. So, I see myself buying more of that. Now you're getting into the several hundreds and thousands of dollars, but we're getting there,
Great. The old illustrations and books are pretty fabulous.
Yeah. I'm captivated by all of it, really. Because, seeing as an artist, and it's training. I mean, I see shapes, I see the frenetic activity between two colors that come together. I respond to it. And that's only because I'm in the studio looking for the same vibe, maybe if I want to accomplish that. So it's a technical thing. I'm thinking about it. So when I see it outside my own work, I'm like, whoa, wow, look how they did that. They did that with a line and this color, so it all is exciting to me.
That's spectacular. Well, I'm super appreciative of you being a part of Delco Arts Week this year. And please stay around and come back and see us soon.
I will do that. And thanks so much, Jennifer. I loved it.
Thank you.